Hi, Deborah. Good to see you. Hi, Hillmobile. Good to see you. How are you? How are you? How are you? Hi, Grimsy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hi, Mahogany. Good to see you. Blessings to you. Okay, guys. I'm not going to be before you long. Hi, Brock. Good to see you. Hi, Naturally. Hello, hello, hello. Great to see you. Hey, great. Just did first scope. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, how are you? How are you? Hello. Hello. Blessings to you. Blessings to you. Listen, guys, if you want to invite your followers, this is going to be a really quick, short scope. Hi, Reggie. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. So, guys, listen, if you're brand new to me, I am Jen, the Grant Guru. Hi, Mahogany. Hi, Destiny. Good to see you. Good to see you. I am Jen, the Grant Guru. I've got close to 30 years of experience, grant writing, grant researching, grant review. I help nonprofit organizations. Hello, hello. I help nonprofit organizations get the funding that they need, not just grant funds, but also sustainable organizational funds, right? So a lot of my scopes, I talk about getting the funding that you need for your programs, but also thinking strategically so that you have funds for sustainability. All right. So that's what I'm really into is sustainability. Hello, lady. Good to see you. I hope you're not driving now. Hello. Hello. So listen, guys, I've been on the phone this evening and I really try to bring to you some of the conversations that I have with many of my clients when we're talking about their programs. We're talking about their program needs, when we're talking about their program sustainability. Awesome. Good. I'm glad that you're done for the day. And this is an area that really was brought home to me, and I wanted to share this with you really quickly before we all go to bed and I got to get ready for finishing up my message for Sunday. But one of the things that I've been really struggling with the last couple of clients is getting them to understand that just because you have a great program idea, just because you have a great, compelling program idea, what you also need is funding, right? And particularly if you are an organization. Hi, Kira. Thank you so much for coming in. I am Jen, the Grant Guru, guys. I've got close to 30 years of experience doing this work. I have worked in the nonprofit. My heart is sensitive to many of you guys who are just starting out. I am compassionate to understand that whatever dollar you spend, you got to get back. If you saw my last scope, I was talking about what to look for when you are hiring a grant writer, okay? Everything is hinged upon your program. So I know I sound like a broken record. I always am talking about program. I'm always talking about impact. I'm always talking about how you have to use those things to raise money, particularly at this time when you are looking for grant funding, when you are seeking a grant fund, okay? When we are just starting up, the challenges that every new organization has is what? Fundraising. Hi, Heal. Thank you for inviting your followers. Thank you. That it is not just starting the organization. It goes beyond your 501c3 and your articles of incorporation and then, identifying who should be on your board and what kind of community support that you're going to need to implement your program. You really want to look at your fundraising and your community support, because if in fact you don't yet have credibility, you don't yet have experience managing a grant, right? You are going to need credibility. You are going to need to explain. Hi, Shaz. Thank you so much for coming in. You are going to need to share with the grant in the application your credibility. If you are just starting out and you're saying, Jen, I've never applied for a grant. I don't know where to begin. I don't understand the process. There are no guarantees. Everything is on a competitive process. Is on a competitive basis with the grantor. What do I do on my application in order to be a good funder, right? Or to be a competitive funder, or to be considered favorably for funding? I have shared with you guys that as a grant writer, researcher, and reviewer, that means when grants are written, they go to the foundation, they go to people like myself who will decide who is awarded a grant or who is disqualified, okay? let me say this. Just because you might be a brand new organization does not mean that you are not equally as competitive as an organization that is well established. That's not what that means at all. The information that you want to consider is, what are the relationships that I have that I can get letters of support, that I can build partnerships with? We are not, no organization can work alone, right? It's a community organization. You guys have designed and developed yourself to be an impact in a community. More than likely, then, there is some other relationship within the community that you are going to have to build relationships with. I can help you identify those relationships. But what's key is that you need to understand how you're going to explain the funding. That's the grants management piece. And you're also going to need community support. There are ways to get community support. To start, before you're writing, to start building that credibility. All right? To speak to your experience, to speak to your relationships, to speak to your expertise in a certain area. Now, I work with a lot of people who are in the boot camp who have come from personal experience, and based on their personal experience, they have designed a program, right? So they're either helping women, abused children, they're helping those who are struggling for financial assistance, whatever. Whatever your personal experience has been that has caused you to create a program that is going to affect change to others within your community. You want to then start identifying who within your community can you get support from. All right? So it's financial support and community support. And with those two things, in addition to your ability to express your impact, those are the areas that most brand new organizations struggle with, right? Struggle with getting started. Struggle with, I don't know how to put together my program. What about a virtual organization, no headquarters? That's done all the time. Done all the time. But whatever the organization and whatever the structure of the organization, what's key is that you are able to communicate impact. You are able to communicate impact. Right? If there's low overhead, but you can communicate impact, that's fine. Listen, funders like innovation. They like areas where you can cut costs, right? Because they only have a limited fund. But what they're most interested in is impact. Annual events. Okay, community impact. Perfect. Annual events are fundraising activities, right? So in addition to the annual events, you also want to have a full breadth of, hi Kelly Circle, good to see you, Kelly, that you also want to have a fundraising plan for the entire year. In addition to that one event, what other activities do you have? Right? So with that event, you'll get corporate support, you'll get individual support, you might get in-kind support, right? But after that activity is done, usually it's a one-day activity, but it takes a lot of resources to plan for it. I have planned more events in my life. Oh my gosh, I get it. And they can be very, very beneficial. If you've got appropriate sponsorships, that's relationships. If you got people who will come in and purchase tables, relationships, right? Two of my favorite scopers is on you and Ashley Ann. Lord, what am I going to do? Go watch Ashley Ann. You can watch me on the replay. She is awesome. I understand completely. So listen, guys, I have been doing this work for close to 30 years, all right? So in addition to your annual event, which is an activity, it's a fundraising activity, just like grant writing is it's not a one-time activity because there should be many applications going out, but there has to be other fundraising because after that one activity, there's a lot of follow-up. There's a lot of, hopefully, asks being done at this event. But after you have completed your proposal, put it in the mail, you're waiting around for at least 6 to 8 weeks, right? So what are you doing in the meantime to continue the activities of fundraising? An annual event, a special event is great, but it's an activity. That will not support your entire program, your entire organizational operation, right? Your operational budget. In addition to that plan, in addition to that event, what else have you in place? What else are you planning to support your organization for sustainability of a year at least? Okay. Hi, Overflow. Thank you so much for joining. But that's a wonderful question. That's a wonderful question. If you have any other questions, now is the time to ask them. So listen, guys, I know that you guys are really tired of me harping about program, impact, sustainability, but it is so important. These are great ideas. Oh, you're welcome. This is what I do. I come on here at least twice a day, and I try to impart my close to 30 years of experience of fundraising, right? So I started out as a grant writer close to 30 years ago, but my career has been to train, to work in, to lead nonprofit organizations. So all things fundraising, organizational systems and structures, and planning is what I have done, all right? So yes, any questions that you have about your organization, let me know. Now, I only have one spot left for the boot camp, right? I have a grant writing boot camp. I got one spot left. One spot left. We start on Monday, and then that's it. It's a wrap-a-dappa. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. So we are just finishing up outcomes management. We have just designed our programs, our program descriptions, our needs assessment. We are doing our mission statement. And next week in the current grant writing bootcamp, we are working on budgets, right? So yesterday, the word for the day, what was the word for the day? We've been talking about relationship. We've been talking about impact. Right? That if you guys are not able to get into the grant writing the boot camp where I walk you through the whole thing, at least think about sustainability, think about relationships, and think about impact. Because those are the things that your asks, right? When you ask a donor, when you ask an individual, when you ask a corporation, or when you put together a proposal to ask a foundation for funding, those are the things that they are looking for. They are looking for your relationships, your impact, and your budget. They want to make sure that there are not just expenses. They want to know that you got a plan to not only raise money to help, but to sustain the operations of your organization so that they're not thinking we're putting this money in a black hole and you guys will be gone, right? Not having a plan is not a good plan. Hi, Lady Gemini. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. Listen, guys, it is so important. Hi. Good to see you. Good to see you. As you guys, many of you guys are just starting out. You guys are making the decision. Do I get my program first, or do I go ahead and get my 501c3 first? Do I do the paperwork first, or do I get my program together? I say do them both. Why? Because once you've gotten your paperwork signed off and sent off to the state and they are waiting for the award letter to come through, you still got to have a program. You still got to know your impact. You still got to know how much that thing is going to cost to run and sustain itself. You still need to know what your program is going to do. Right? And while you are planning your program, you are also identifying what partners, what community partners that you need to be in relationship with. How much is this thing going to cost for the year? Not just for the life of the grant. The grant is a year. The grant may be a year, and then you got to report on that. And then you got to hope that you get another grant, right? Hi, Shaz. Thank you so much for coming back. So the question is, are you in position? Do you have your community partners lined out? Do you have an annual fundraising organizational plan? Put a 1 if you have one. Put a 2 if you don't. I'm just curious. I love catching you live, but I'm in a city on bad connection, so I have to catch replay. Oh, I understand. I understand. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So you don't. Okay, Overflow. Thank you for your honesty. Listen, that is not unusual because most people don't know what they don't know. right? You just don't know what you don't know. I've been doing this for 30 years. This is what I do. Do you help us determine the cost and the budget? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The boot camp that we're just about to start, I just don't see it happening for a while, but yeah, that's what we go through. We go through a real grant proposal. We go through a real grant proposal. So by the time you get through the program, I have walked you through a proposal. Now, let me just tell you about the structure of the boot camp, all right? Because many people say, what time is class? What time is class? It's not that kind of class, right? So what happens is you guys get on my calendar because many of you guys work. Many people are in different time zones. I'm in California. It's still reasonably early here. So what happens is you get on my calendar for the next 4 to 5 weeks or so, and then I walk you through your program. So it's not like you go to the Foundation Center or you go to a library and you sit and listen. No, no, no. You are building your program. You got too many ideas to decide just one. Exactly. You got to prioritize it. And within the boot camp, we hone it down. Listen, activities are not a problem if they fit to your mission. Many times organizations are doing things that have nothing to do with their mission just because they thought it was a great idea. And my thing is, that's fine if you have the funds to support it. That's fine. You can do whatever you want to if you have the money to support it. But if you don't, then you have to do the things that are within your